Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Above the Bar podcast, a show about a middle-aged father, current events, and how these things affect my everyday life. Alrighty, folks, welcome to a special Saturday night edition of the Above the Bar podcast. As you saw my teaser, we've got the beard from the east,
the beard from the east,
the hair never quits. We got Mr. Aaron Johnston, because I fucked that up earlier today.
It's fine. You're definitely not the first person, and you will most definitely not be the last to mess that one up. So.
We got Aaron here. He's got his own network. It's called Talking Beards. And our former guest, you guys have heard me talk about him before. We love his products. Douglas Smythe from over at Phoenix Shaving had introduced us.
He did.
So I figured, you know what? I'm home right now. We're on lockdown at the Murphy household. And I figured, well, you know what? Let's go ahead and do this. And Aaron's at his place on a Saturday night. I'm on mine. And I figured, let's make it happen. Aaron, welcome to the bar, brother. Belly on up.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me. How are you doing tonight?
Well, we got the 3-year-old to go to bed without anyone being violently attacked.
Well, I mean, that's always a plus when you're not violently attacked by your 3-year-old. That's good.
God. Well, he has this tendency to do the I don't want to go to bed, and I want to do kung fu moves around your arm where he never actually is doing anything. He's just leaping onto my arm. And I'm like, bro, lay down. Just lay down. And it's the whole time is this move of me slinging my arm. Like, just lay down. Lay down.
So he's either going to be like a gymnast or a ninja.
Or he's going to be that kid that constantly is hiding behind shit after whatever the next craze is after TikTok. And since we have no Vine and now TikTok, whatever the next craze is, he's going to be that kid that is jumping out and harassing his father.
Nice.
That's what I figure it's going to be more like.
You have a lot of good stuff to look forward to if that's the case.
Well, he's the youngest of 8.
Holy crap.
That's all. That's normally the reaction. So to add to that statement, so I had 3 sons. My wife had 2 sons and 2 daughters. And then we figured we'd go half on one here. So that's where number 8 comes into the play. So his oldest sibling is 27.
Oh, okay. So they're not all in the house.
No, God, no.
I was going to say, do you have a school bus, or how does that exactly work?
We got one of those old school 15-pack vans, the white one.
Yeah.
Yeah. They come in no other color but white.
That's right. Maybe like a off blue stripe, but that's it. Yeah. That's like the fancy version of it. Yeah, that's it. The luxury model has the blue stripe. That's
right. Yeah. And everywhere around it just says prone to tipping,
everywhere.
This thing is going to go over at some point. So you're down at well, let's ask this question because I know what it is here right now. What's the weather like in South Carolina right now?
Currently, it got freaking cold the past 2 days. It's 40 here right now. Oh. And 2 days ago, it was 70. And that was way better and way more normal. So we got this blast of cold air, and it's not New York cold air, but it's South Carolina cold air.
Right. Look, I get it. I just miss it. I can't even begin to explain to you how much I miss the South and the Southern weather. I lived in North Carolina for years.
Where at?
Jacksonville.
Oh, okay. Nice.
And,
I got a buddy up there.
And it was just, even my father, who never served a day in the Marine Corps, when I was selling that house, was like, it's a funny story. So he calls me up. He goes, I'm like, Dad, I'm selling this house. I'm moving back up. I got orders. He's like, I was like, but I got to get this thing sold. I've only been here about 2 years. He goes, yeah. I said, yeah, I think I'm going to try to get 189 for it. He goes, would you take 180? I said, no, I'm trying to get 189. He goes, but would you take 180? I said, no, Dad, I'm trying to get 189. He goes, son, are you an imbecile? I said, what are you talking? He goes, I'm offering you 180. I went, oh. Oh, well, yeah, for you, Dad. Yeah, sure, whatever.
Yeah, sure. Anything for you, Dad.
Yeah, like at no point did he actually say the words like, "Hey, son, I'd like to purchase your home.
Right.
This is what I'm offering to you."
Is he still there?
No, my stepmom's still there. My dad passed away a couple of years ago, but
Sorry to hear that.
yeah, like I talk about my dad often on the show because he was a character as all. He was a very unique man. I always tell people. So my dad was the best salesman I've ever known. He worked for Sears. Like he was the kind of guy that he actually got a retirement from Sears.
Nice.
Like that. So that's like, that'll tell you what level he was at in Sears.
No
It wasn't.
Yeah.
But he was a salesman. He was a regular, like go in, buy a washer and dryer salesman. And, but there used to be all these stories where he worked on one day, worked with a customer, and, maybe he left and the customer came back the next day and he didn't, they came back and made a sale then. And my dad would end up seeing these people and they'd be like, "Oh, hey, Murph or Den, really appreciate it. Love the washer and dryer." And my dad would be like, oh, you got it? Oh, great. And he would go back into the computer and figure out who the sale was with, who stole his sale.
Yeah.
And he would turn around and let that person know, "You're not making any money anymore." And they'd be like, "What?" And he'd be like, "Yeah, you're done." And they'd be like, "Well, you can't do that." And my father would take all their sales from them, like to the point of in the middle of a conversation, my father would walk over and take the customer right away from you.
Scoop it up.
Right away. And they would go, and my dad, he wasn't a big, thick guy, but my dad was like 6'1", 6'2", with very big, bony hands. And he grew up in East Baltimore. That's the kind of guy he was. He was not mean in any way. There's a whole nother story where my dad and I were involved.
Assertive.
Yes. Yeah. And it was so funny. These people would go to their managers and be like, "Dennis keeps stealing my sales." And the managers would be like, "So what did you do?" And they'd be like, "Well, nothing." They were like, "No, Dennis will help you make a sale in a heartbeat. What did you do?" "Well, I didn't know it was his customer." "Okay. Did you apologize yet?" And they would be like, well no. I mean, okay. I can't do anything. I can't do anything for you until you apologize. But that was my dad.
You got to help yourself first a little bit. Dang, my bad, dude. I didn't know that was your sale. Oh, it's all right. No.
Right. Like my dad would have been the kind of guy to be like, "All right, don't let it happen again. One time is a mistake. It happens.
Exactly.
Understand. We can talk." But yeah, my old man was, he was different like that.
Awesome.
So tell me about Talking Beards. Obviously, it's pretty self-explanatory. And so you folks know, how many championships do you have, Aaron? Let's get into that first.
Oh my gosh. So it just depends on what level of championship you kind of go with. I've been competing since 2014, and I've won some bar competitions around the country and stuff like that. And the beginning of 2017, I shaved into goatee because I think it was like October 2016, I was in Denver for the national competition, and I was still full beard, and I was doing full beard styled mustache, and I didn't win, or I didn't even place in my category. And I was watching the goatee people up on stage, and I was like, man, my beard is just as good as theirs, but like all they do is shave their sides off. I'm like, man, if I would just shave my sides off, I could have placed at nationals. And my sides, they just didn't grow that well. I mean, it was full, but it just, my beard grows, 24 inches long, and my sides would grow out like 2 inches and stop. And some people, like, their beard will grow just as much up here as it does down here, but I'm just not one of those people. So it was just like watching them on stage. I'm like, man, if I just do it. So January 2017, I did it, and it was freaking on from then. And I won competitions all over the country pretty regularly after that, after I went goatee. And then that year was the world competition, and it just so happened to be in the United States that year, because every 2 years it travels literally all over the world. So September 1st, 2017, I won the world championship in the goatee category. I ended up beating 32 people in my category, and there was something like 750 people total for the whole competition over 3 days. It was the biggest beard competition that's ever been held in the world, even to today's day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that was the biggest one, about 750 people. And, so I won the world championship, and that's where actually I met Scott Sikora, which is my co-host on Talking Beards. And
where is Scott? He was, I thought he was going to pop on. Where's he hiding at right now?
You never know about Scott. He can just pop on. You don't know. He's a wild card. But
I like listening to your guys' show. I like the round robin that you guys use and everything. It's great. Now, what do you? Wait a sec. The other real goat. There it is, right there. Everybody's commenting on your goatee right now. That's it. So I'll tell you right now. Until you just said a moment ago that it was a goatee, I didn't realize it was just considered a goatee.
Yeah. So in the competitive bearding circuit, it's 1.5 inch gap from the hairline to the beard line for like World Beard and Mustache Association rules. And
hold on, say that again.
It's a full thing, man. It's real. It's sanctioned stuff. But there's the U.S. Nationals is like Beard Team USA has their own kind of set of rules, and it's 2 inches from the earlobe down would be a goatee. So I just fall in both. I just some people actually they'll just shave this like a razor's width up here, and they're a goatee, and that's bull crap. That's not a goatee. That's not even close. So, so I shave it all the way down here, and I've got my 2 inch gap from the earlobe down, and we're good to go. So yeah, it's technically a goatee in competitive bearding circuits. I know it's, goatee. If you look up in like the Webster dictionary or whatever, goatee's like just chin hair. And then they're like, oh, you have a Van Dyke because you have a goatee with a mustache or whatever. But I go by WBMA and, competitive beard circuit rules. I have a goatee. So
that's so have you, I'm a big TV pop culture guy. That's something I love. I see you've got your, and I guess we can't call him Baby Yoda.
It's Baby Yoda. Me and my wife constantly have this debate. She goes with the whole Goguru,
right?
Whatever crap. It's Baby Yoda. He was Baby Yoda to me from day one, and I don't change my mind.
So no Goguru for you.
Not for
Baby
me.
Yoda. No, Baby Yoda. That's it.
That's it.
Interesting.
That's it.
And have you watched Warrior on HBO Max yet?
I have not.
Do you like Bruce Lee?
He's all right.
I love Bruce Lee. I'm not
like, oh my God, Bruce Lee, but he's cool.
So this show is based on stories that Bruce Lee wrote.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Podfather. It's not Baby Yoda. Ugh. That's Podfather.
It's Baby Yoda.
But so this show, Warrior, it's based on stories written by Bruce Lee about Chinese immigrants in San Francisco fighting with the Irish immigrants in San Francisco for jobs in the late 1800s. But the police chief has like the most epic beard mustache thing that I love.
Yeah.
So it's this like, so he's still got the, and you can tell me what it's called then. So all this is gone in here. So this is missing. And it kind of comes down and then goes up. So it's like
that would be considered chops, and the more specific that would be friendly chops because it's chops with a mustache.
Friendly chops
has a mustache. So if you have it goes with the same 1.5 inch gap. So as long as it's at least 1.5 inch gap on your chin, and it turns it into chops, which everyone knows is the stupidest possible facial hairstyle that you can have.
Like, I was gonna shave it today to just kind of like feel like I was part of the whole thing.
Oh, I've been fine.
You're like, oh no, you're good. You and your stupid face hair. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations on your friendly stupid chops.
Yeah. So there's like. That was awesome. We've got like 3 kind of partial beard categories in like the bearding circuit. You have goatees, chops, and you'll have whalers, which is like an Amish beard. And so Scott and I, on our show, just constantly rag on the goatees and the chops and the whalers guys, just because they're the other partial category. So we just constantly just bash them and tell them how stupid they are.
Well, you brought up the Amish, and we were talking about this earlier, and we're going to kind of touch into this. So we were mentioning why the Amish don't have mustaches,
right?
And they don't have mustaches. We were talking about this because at kind of like a height of Amish culture in the United States, they looked at the mustache was like this fanciful thing, and it was all about yourself. Right down to the movie A Million Ways to Die in the West, where they do the whole song about mustaches.
Oh yeah,
and the Amish were like, "Oh no, we're not
fancy. We're not going to have a mustache because
no fancy pants for me.
Fancy. Yeah,
that fancy mustache shit.
Yeah."
But now you're sponsored by Honest Amish.
I am. Yeah. Honest Amish is based out of Greenville, Pennsylvania, which is, very much up in Amish country, and super nice, down to earth company. And I think it's not just because I'm sponsored by them. It just kind of all works out. But I really feel like it's the best beard products on the market. Yeah. There you go. Look at that stuff. Looks so good. That's that beard wax. Yeah. The beard wax was the first product that they created on their own, was that wax right there, because nobody was really making any beard wax at the time.
So I got to ask you, so I bought this one by accident because I meant to buy Beard Balm, and my own illiteracy of not paying attention to what I was clicking on Amazon.
Yeah.
I ended up clicking on this one, and so what is the idea with the wax? Like, what am I supposed to do with this?
So it goes in basically kind of like the balm, right? So, but you just like scrape it out with your thumb, and you just rub it in your hands and warm it up, get it solidified as much as you can. And with your beard, it would work real well because it's short. So it would just tame it. You just kind of rub it in, and you can kind of shape it a little bit the way you want it. I mean, it's not going to be like hairspray hold or anything like that. But if you have any little flyaways or anything, it'll tidy it up. But with mine, sometimes I use it in my mustache. That's about it.
So I shouldn't use Gorilla Glue, right?
It doesn't
it
doesn't say you can't use Gorilla Glue on your beard. So I think that makes it okay. And then I think you can sue them because it does not specifically say no beards on there. So I think it's fine. I think you're good to go.
Did you see that girl?
No, what girl?
What? Oh, you didn't hear about this? No, you're kidding.
Yeah. I actually bought some today for toothpaste because it didn't say you couldn't use it as toothpaste. So I bought some today.
That's fair enough. Yeah. I mean,
it didn't say no toothpaste. It said don't swallow it. So I'm just like, as long as I don't swallow it, it's fine.
Well, and if you really use that logic and you think about it, that's a great bonding. You're like bonding your teeth at that point.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, you could, definitely. If you had like dentures, you could just use Gorilla Glue and they'd stand forever.
See there, we're off into this marine. So marine buddies of mine here. Andrew says marine logic, and Dave said try Gorilla Glue as a shot.
There you go.
But would it come out of the glass? That really would be the question.
I mean, that's what you got to cut a bigger hole and just like stick the little tube in there. It'll be fine.
You'll be all right. It's not a big deal. You just go right for it.
It'll heal itself up with the glue.
Do it for the job. Get a pocket watch. So
you should.
I should at work. I could just walk around. I'll go. But see, I can't now that you've told me it's the weenie version. I can't do it now.
Well, I mean, a lot of people wear it well. It'll be fine.
But now you have to go watch HBO Max and go watch Warrior and see it's the police chief. I wonder if anybody will, Tom, see if you can get a picture of it. See if it'll come up here on my feed, and you can send me a picture. But yeah, man. So now you've been competing since 2014. Yeah. Is there? Now this came to mind when I was looking at. So yes, I stared longingly at your goatee.
I appreciate it,
and was thinking to myself, have you ever been offered, or is there a number that somebody has ever offered you to say, take it off?
Yeah, so probably about 2 years in, I think they got up to like $300 at work. Just guys like $20 here and there, and I wouldn't even think about it. But yeah, it comes up in conversation, usually at work. I don't know, because we get bored, and like we're like, what would you do? Like, it kind of gets explicit in these conversations, but like. It'll get directed towards my beard every once in a while, and I would honestly not even give it a thought for less than $154,000 because that would pay my house off. So I wouldn't even.
There's a number.
I mean, I would think about it for that, and I don't even think I would take it.
You wouldn't? Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that
would be before I even gave it a thought. Like if someone was like, "Here's $50,000," I wouldn't even. No,
it wouldn't even be part of the conversation.
Nope. 154, I would at least think about it.
Wonder if Laurie's still watching. Laurie, what do you think of the goatee here? What if you're still watching? Let's see if she's still on here. But God, I'm going to tell you right now. If at 154, you're not even. You're like, nah, maybe
at 154.
So, well, how many years are in this thing?
8 years.
All right. So, I mean, you're a fairly young guy. I mean, you can grow that back.
I'm 38.
Yeah. I mean, so by the time you're, if it happened today, by the time you're 46, you're back at it.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's only 8 years more of your life that you've dedicated to this thing.
I know, man, but it's so much fun. It's so much part of my life. Like, you have no idea. So what got this whole thing started was in 2012, we were watching a reality show called Whisker Wars, and it was about competitive bearding. And dude, when I was watching that thing, I would have never imagined in a million zillion years that show would have changed my life to the point that bearding consumes my entire life. Like it's everything. Like everything I do is, besides going to normal work, but I mean, everything. I mean, COVID's kind of slowed it down because the year before COVID, me and my wife did like 30 competitions that year.
So what's the kind of money in these competitions?
None. It's all charity.
Okay. So it's all.
Yep. Nobody. I mean, sponsors may help you get from event to event and stuff like that. And I'm sure there's somebody in the bearding world that's making some sort of money off their beard, but I'm not that guy. So there's, I know a couple people that's potentially making money off of it, but that's about it. So it's not really about making money. It's about, traveling around, making friends, traveling, going and seeing stuff and competing and, making money for charity. That's all the thing. And, bragging rights, I guess that's about it. But yeah, it's all, every beer competition, generally all beer competitions are for charity. So what they'll do is usually they'll select like a local charity or something like that, and they'll just go for it and they'll work with them, and all proceeds will go to that charity.
So Cody said, that's great. Cody said 8 years is like the same commitment to owning a large breed dog in their life expectancy. All right. That's crazy. So let's see if I can get this up. So Tom sent me the picture.
Uh-oh.
So if I can get to my phone, and then you can tell me if this is the same thing here. So if you're watching the live, you'll see it. That's what I was thinking about.
Yeah. So he's got a little bit of scruff on the side. That's pretty much like a small chops.
Because that's what I was thinking about going for today.
You should have went for it.
Now this is I'm telling you, this is. I
think you got really good color on your chin, though. Yeah, that's nice.
So, well, thank you for saying that I have nice color.
I like it. I've got like a little bit coming in on my sides, but that's it. I'm waiting for it to just like get some crazy streaking or something going on. But
you have a question.
It's going slow.
You have a question. Go ahead and read that one.
Me?
Yep.
Oh, where do you put your beard when you're engaging in the act of, sex? So what I'll do is I'll tie it up. I cloth knot it all the time. I do a whole procedure and tie it in a knot, and it sits right here. So great question, Cody.
That is such an awesome question. Because all I could think of is, did you ever see the TikToks that were going around for a while where it was the woman was getting ready to like clean underneath the couch, but every shot was like her bending down and pulling her hair back and then leaning over, and the guy being like, "Oh shit, it's about to be that time." Yeah. And then she's like cleaning under the couch. Right. So that's all I can imagine is every time you're like, doo doo doo, and you're being like, no, I'm just.
And then I just clean under the couch.
Just cleaning something. This might be your viral TikTok we just came up with.
That's it. I had one of those last year. It was pretty fun.
Dave's got his local charity. Dave is another Marine that served with me. He used to actually work for me at one point in time, and he's actually started a non-for-profit. I think this is the one, his right here, Sleep in Heavenly Peace. They make bed deliveries and set up free of charge to people who are in need.
That's awesome, man. That's what the beer community does. They all help out stuff just like that.
See, and I really didn't know that that's what it was all about. What is it? It was mostly charitable, people going out and doing that. I was thinking like, especially when you start talking national and USA team and all those type of things, you start thinking, oh, well, maybe there's a couple bucks associated with this.
That's what I thought really when we watched the TV show and got involved in bearding in 2014. Like they never even once said anything about charity during the whole filming. It was 2 seasons of that show, and they never came up. And we didn't know anything about charity before we went to the competition there in Charleston in 2014. And then we realized, hey, they're just raising money for charity. This is super cool. And then we figured out that there was actually women that did it and everything. So it was a whole thing, and we had no idea.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. No, absolutely not.
Can we get your wife to bring a crimping iron in right now and crimp the beard?
No, I do my best to not put any heat in it as much as possible.
That would kill it.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't hurt. It doesn't help it any. So every time I take a shower after I oil and balm and comb it all through, I'll blow dry it like my skin, but I'll blow dry it on cold just to try to get some of the dampness off my skin. But that's it.
What is the beard routine like? It's like, so that's a great question. So I'm thinking here, like, I know me. I've got from Phoenix Shaving, I've got the square. It's a beard shampoo, the degreaser. Do you have one?
Cube?
Yep, I've got a cube.
Yeah,
I love it, and I rub that in my beard to get it nice and lathered up, and then I let that sit while I shower and do everything. And then when I get out, I use beard balm, and I rub the beard balm in when I get out, and then I take my I've got a sandalwood comb, and I comb it through just so that it's all said and done.
Yep.
But I don't have. What'd you say it was? 2 feet?
Yeah, it's 24 inches. Well, it's probably like 25, 26 right now, but I'll cut it back to 24 just to trim the ends. That was kind of, I don't know. I was really hoping I could get to 2 foot, and I got there, and now I just do my best to keep it there. So I honestly need to take probably about 4 inches off my beard just to get it back to really, really good, healthy beard. So I may do that since worlds got pushed because of COVID. So it gives me a couple more years to get some new growth. But yeah, I'm at 24, and yeah. So my beard routine. So
There's
after
Scott.
there he is. He said sandalwood. Freaking Scott. So after I get out of the shower, I'll towel dry my beard. I'll just wrap a beard towel around it and just kind of squeeze it a little bit. And then funny you say that. I did make my beard into a heart for a beard competition online like last week. Last month. So I'll put oil on the skin, and because oil is for the skin and balm's for the hair. And so then I'll use like a wide tooth comb, and I'll brush it through or comb it through. And then I use the balm, and I'll rub it through the hair. And then I have a less wide tooth comb, and I'll use it. And then sometimes I use a wet brush. Sometimes I don't. Just kind of depends on if I want to brush it or not. But then after that, I'll get everything good and rubbed in, and then I'll blow dry it on cold. He's a freaking moron.
I love it.
Scott.
I love it. Dave had a great question here. So what's the rules and regs of these competitions? Is it just because you're sitting here saying, hey, I'm going to take 4 inches off to stay healthier? Mm-hmm. Is it pure length, or is it?
So it's all different category, right? So there's full beard categories, and each category will have its own length. So if you have a 2 foot long beard, you're not going to be competing against you. So you would be like 0 to 4 full beard. And then you go to probably like 4 to 8, 8 to 12, over 12. And then some categories, competitions even go to like 12 to 24 and like over 24. Just depends on the size of the competition, because over 12, that's usually like big beards. But sometimes competitions get crazy. But so then you'll have that, and then you'll have your partial categories, like we talked about, your goatees and chops and whalers, and then you'll have your mustache categories, and then you'll have your freestyle categories. You'll have your partial and or your freestyle category, like full beard. And so that's when you add like waxes or hairsprays, and then they make big loops and all that stuff. So then it starts getting crazy. But when you're in like the natural categories, you can't put any hairspray or anything in there. But like a goatee, generally you're just in a goatee category as long as you fit the shaving criteria. So say you cut yours into a goatee, you and I probably would compete against each other in the goatee.
Because it is what it is at that point.
It's just goatees. Like, I mean, so if, like I said, like nationals, they tried a length a couple years ago just because of that. Like Scott won his category in goatee, and then I finished second in my national category in goatee, but it's because our links were different, and that's not normally how goatee is. Like at Worlds, it's just goatee, and there'll be 30 of us in there. So they were just trying to split everybody up just to try to change it up a couple years ago in Chicago. But yeah, it's just, shaving into your right category and lengths, and, know if you can use product or not. It's, Well,
that was going to be my next question. And I'll be honest, I never thought in a million years I would be so like enamored with like the rules of look, Cody even just said it. Why am I so fascinated with beard talk? Because it's interesting, because
it's awesome. That's why
it's so different of a concept here. And as I'm thinking about it, I'm like, is there a version of cheating in beer?
Absolutely. Yeah. So the cheating thing, since COVID, we've kind of talked about this a little bit. Since COVID, a lot of the online competitions or live competitions have gone online. And that's been one of my things. Like nationals went online this year, and I was one of the people that didn't really like the thought of a prestigious event going online, because you get judges that they can feel your beard and stuff. And one thing that I thought of that I've watched a lot of online competitions, and I study for stuff, and I feel like you could add hairspray to your beard and nobody would know in an online competition. You know what I mean? Like just kind of fluff it out a little bit extra and hit it with some hairspray, and it's got like, dang, look at that. That thing's even bigger. And I know it didn't look like that in person. Or if it's like
that story of my life.
It's holding some weird shape. And,
That's what
and the judges online are like, oh, we really like that weird shape that is holding. Well, how is it holding a shape? It shouldn't hold a shape. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, I think there's some aspects of cheating, and I don't know, like it's everything. It's a competitive sport or whatever. So there's always going to be, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, I guess, kind of a little bit. But some people just don't cheat. But.
Well, I'm adding this to the Leisure Olympics. The Leisure Olympics.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely adding this along the side of darts, lawn darts, pool. What's the cornhole? Mm-hmm. I'm adding officially at this moment with zero authority to do so. Authority to do so. This is competitive beards is going into the Leisure Olympics. You've done something special here to Cody, though, Aaron. I don't. She is looking she said a single white female on a Saturday night just loving beard talk. Where's the single men with nice beards? So just keep that in mind. So that,
single man beard contest. I mean, you go to beard competitions. There's a lot of single dudes there. I would assume. Just look them up.
Well, Cody told us this. I met Cody through a networking event and through Tim from last week's show. Tim and her worked on a dating app called WAD, Woke Ass Dating. That's a whole. Isn't it great? Love the name. And it was this whole thing, and it's great. And Tim does like game shows all on his own. But what I was just thinking about is she might have her new niche as she's gets her RV together, and she said she's going to do her traveling, and she does. And I think this would be great for you and Scott. She does I don't know how to pronounce the fucking word. Transcendent, whatever, like
sounds good.
Woo woo dancing.
Yeah.
And you should do it with your beards. And that would be phenomenal.
Scott could definitely be a beard dancer. I agree with that.
See that? And then guys could all get together and you could take, because she's traveling cross country. If she's smart.
Men with beard.
There you go. It's trademarked. It's trance dance trademarked with Cody. But it would be so great. She could go travel the beard circuit. And she could be like the official beard circuit judge. Like you get these like barbecue judges that travel and hit the barbecue circuit. She could hit the beard circuit. You know, look at that, Cody. We figured it out for you, dear. We got you a spot as the official, and I have no authority to make you official, but I'm making you official.
Hey, it's man, like that's the best way to make official, declarations is when you have no authority to do so. It's usually the best kind. Like, you know what? This is what we're doing. I know nothing about it, but we're doing it. But
Scott said he's the more handsome one.
I mean, probably not.
I do like your picture though, Scott. Like it looks very studious. Like you're looking off into the sunset, pondering the.
Yeah, it looks like he's looking off directly into the sun.
Like let me wander.
Yeah, his mind's always wandering. He can't ever stay on track.
Is he a squirrel? Squirrel.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh, squirrel. Yeah, that's a good nickname for Scott now.
Squirrel. See, I call it hook and left when shit just goes a whole nother direction. Like we're talking about beards, and all of a sudden hook and left. We're just gonna go and do something else for a moment.
That's talking beards every episode.
Hook and left.
That's it.
That's it. That's my thing. Is I just call it hook and left. I'm gonna make a hard left here, and we're gonna go into a whole nother conversation.
Perfect.
So what else is there beside? I mean, you said beards have kind of involved your life, but we know you're into pop culture. Is there anything else that kind of defines you, Aaron, other than the beard?
I mean
there was life before 2014.
That's right. It's always been all about cars my entire life since I was a little kid. It was always Hot Wheels. Like that's the only thing I cared to play with. When I was in 5th grade, I was like, I'm going to be an auto mechanic. That's it. And there's nothing else. So I worked on cars as soon as I could. The minute I graduated high school, I graduated in May. July 1st, I was already in tech school to be a mechanic. And I quickly learned I did not want to be an auto mechanic. So
you sound like me.
Yeah, I was like, I want to work on my own stuff. I just want to pull my truck in and, lower it some more or mess with my stereo or, change my brakes or my oil. But I don't feel like messing with everybody else's crap. So I got super lucky and ended up in my career field pretty early on and got out of that situation of being in tech school after about 6 months. And, but
it all goes back to the beard.
That's it. So I still love cars. I've had several. I have like 6 now, I think. And
what are you working with here? I just sold my 80 Camaro Z28 T-tops with a 400 engine. It had
Why would you get rid of it?
It had a quarter roll cage.
Have 13 kids. That's right.
Because I've bred way too much. Way too much. Well, we still have my wife's 66 Thunderbird.
Oh, okay, cool.
So we got rid of my Camaro. I will get another one, but I think, what it came down to for me was I loved the car. It ran like a scalded dog. It had the vacuum hood that when you just stomp the shit out of it, the gates would open up.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, and it was, I tell you what sucked about it it had the original 3-speed, which was good, but I really wish it would have had the original 4-speed in it.
Right.
But I looked into it.
Wasn't on the tree, was it?
No, okay. It wasn't on the tree. I almost bought a
super muscle car. Yeah.
I almost years and years and years ago almost bought an old Ford that was 3 on the tree, like classic. I don't even know what it was. It was like a F100. Like
nice. Heck yeah. Well, it's different with a truck than when you're trying to have a Camaro. You don't really want it. It's fine on the tree if you're a truck.
Growing up as a kid, my dad had a 68 Camaro convertible Z28, fire engine red with a black convertible top, black interior, and it was polished, ported, and blueprinted. And I always remember his friend Bill Scarpo, and I still talk to Mr. Bill's on face. He's still Mr. Bill to me.
Mr. Bill. Yeah.
Mr. Bill.
I understand that.
We're friends on Facebook, and he had a Corvette Stingray.
Okay.
And I have no idea if he'll ever watch this show or mine or not, but I still remember one time as a kid, he had like all these fireworks, and we were letting off fireworks at Bill's house. And it was like legit fireworks, like dropping them into containers that were like this big around, like 4-inch containers, like, doo, whoo, like the stuff you would see. Like that's what they sounded like when they went. You just heard, doo, whoo. I'm like, and here I am, like 10 years old. And this, again,
explosives.
Yes. Now remember, I'm 10 years old. So that means it's 1976 or 86, 87 at this point. And my old man decides, him and Mr. Bill, and I have no idea what additional chemical influences were in his body at the time.
Right. And yours probably too at 10.
It could have been at 10. I could have had a couple of sips of beer at that point. But what's so funny about it is they decided to race. And I'll never forget, like, looking out the passenger side window as I'm the passenger and my father racing another person.
Hell yeah.
Like you think about, like you say this today and CPS is like, what's the address?
What happened? Yeah.
Tell me again.
Oh yeah. The good old days, as they say.
Right. And we're going down the road, and I'll never forget my dad's Camaro walking away as we went by the side streets and we could see each other. Mm-hmm. My dad's Camaro just walking away from that vet. It was a monster, bro. It was such a, and again, I told you my father was a unique person. Mm-hmm. This was somebody who owed my father money, and it was easier to give my father their car than deal with my father.
So he raced him for pinks?
No, we used to own when we owned the liquor store, we had a check cashing, like old school. You got a paycheck. So when you had the liquor store, we got $1 on every 100 for somebody's paycheck. Mm-hmm. So you would come in and bring your paycheck to my dad, and my dad would cash your paycheck. If it was a $100 paycheck, you got $99. But since it was a liquor store, a lot of times guys would grab like a case of beer, drop their check. My dad would cash it, buy the beer, and then you go about your business. And somebody owed my dad money for whatever on checks. Like maybe their payroll wasn't tight enough. Mm-hmm. That's a whole story about my father going to South Carolina and showing up, coming back home with fireworks because, well, my father's passed away. So fuck them if they can't take a joke. Yeah. Somebody, owned a construction company, and all of his workers went to my dad to cash their checks. And it was a large sum of money, and they didn't have the money in the bank to cover them. So the guy like hightailed it to South Carolina.
Your dad went to South Carolina and found
him and Big Bob, Mr. Bob, as I knew him as a kid, went to South Carolina. And all I know is my father had his money, and I had fireworks. That's the best I could tell you right there. My old man, yes, Cody, that is, we just had the whole conversation. That is Baby Yoda as far as Aaron.
Yoda. Yep.
Yes. Not Grogu. That is Baby
my wife
Yoda.
Said Grogu, but she's wrong. So.
I wish my wife wasn't upstairs not feeling good. We could just turn over the headphones to the wives and let them have their own show.
But yeah, so what I am working with in my garage. So right now I have a 2003 WRX wagon, and I bought a 04 WRX wagon that's been wrecked, and I started pulling, the core support and everything out. And I don't know if I'm gonna keep it or part it out. I haven't quite decided. I'm indifferent. But then I have, what else do I have? So I got my mom's Taurus wagon. It was the second car I ever drove, and when she passed away, that's what I got. And so it just I've gone through it and replaced stuff that it needed and stuff like that. And it mainly just sits under a car cover and hangs out. But I drove it for a while, but now it's, I've got a company truck and I don't really drive everything that I probably should as regularly. But it's here and it's safe. What else I have? So I got I got my wife's Subaru Forester, and then I have a 95 Nissan pickup that I've had since 2003. It's on airbags. It's lime green. Everything that is possibly shaved on it is shaved, and it's got a full wood bed floor and the whole thing.
You got a Nissan hardbody.
I sure do.
The first truck I ever bought in 1994 out of boot camp in the Marine Corps was a Nissan hardbody that they called Blue.
Nice.
Do you know what color blue is to Nissan?
I do not.
Fucking purple.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's freaking purple.
I had that car, and it was 4-speed. I love it. And dude, we could be kindred spirits, and we just don't realize it because the fact of the matter.
Cody, look up at Talking Beards.
Absolutely.
TikTok. Yeah, go down that hole. Anyway, go
ahead. Cody, if make sure you follow these guys. Make sure you give them a like. There's an Instagram too, right? What's the Instagram?
So it's at Talking_Beards because some person has at Talking Beards and they never freaking use it. So yeah, we're _beards.
Oh, hey, Aaron, the other guy. Hi, Tyler Hill. I'm the other guy. I'm Sean. I appreciate that. Thanks.
Yeah,
thanks for
Tyler
calling me.
Does a lot of our artwork and stuff for the show. So
I'm more autistic than artistic.
It's
bad. See, look, Cody's on it. Tyler, welcome to the show. There, glad you're able to jump on and take a look at us here. But yeah, man. So
my last car that I have that you'll super appreciate hearing your car stories is a 2001 Chevy Corvette. It's a black on black 6-speed with target top. So nice. that was when I graduated high school. That was like my dream car because I graduated high school in 2001, and I grew up about 45 minutes from the Corvette factory. So when when the C4s were, the thing, they didn't deliver those on trailers. It wasn't until the C5 that they actually delivered them on semi-truck trailers. They drove them all in the C4s. So when they got to the dealership, they were broke in. So I lived in a town, like I said, 45 minutes from Bowling Green, and the Corvettes would constantly come through town. Like it would just be like a parade of them, and you saw them like they're headed to a dealership or whatever. And I was just obsessed with the C5 when I was, middle school, when all the renderings came out, and in high school when they actually came out. I was just absolutely obsessed with the C5. It was the best looking car I've ever seen in my whole life. And I was like, that's what I want. And when we moved to South Carolina, I wanted a black on black 6-speed C5 Corvette. And the first car lot I passed driving to my job when we got down here, there was one sitting up front, and my wife moved a mountain to make sure I had it, and I've had it ever since. So
that's a good woman you got there, bro.
Yeah, man. It was super cool. Like she was like running around doing all this crazy crap while I was at work. And, I was going to try to keep my little pickup I had, another hard body, to, have it as a daily driver. But it was like, well, you can either have the truck or the car. You can't afford both now. Cause I was like, well, I'll just keep the Corvette for fun or whatever and just drive the truck. And I was like, nope, you need that extra down payment to get this payment so you can afford it. So the Corvette was my daily driver for like 2.5 years. It was freaking the best daily driver I've ever had in my whole life. It was so much fun. So, but now it just sits in the garage and hangs out.
my two, and you brought that up. So my first truck that I ever bought was the hardbody. Mm-hmm. The first car that I ever drove was a Stanza Nissan.
Okay.
My mom owned a Sentra.
So a big Nissan family.
I currently, I've owned the first year V6 Frontiers.
Okay.
And again, back to my dad, I was going to buy the 4x4 version. And my old man was like, you live in North Carolina. You don't need a 4x4. Well, the Marine Corps gave me orders to Pennsylvania, and the first snow in Pennsylvania, I'll get into that in a minute, dear. The first snow in Pennsylvania, the rear end of that thing was like, but now I own a 2007 Titan.
Okay.
That I swear on all that's holy, with a fresh set of tires, will pull your house off its frame. I don't give a shit what anyone says.
Yeah,
that thing is a monster.
They're badass. I like those a whole lot.
It's coming up on 190,000 miles.
Come on, still fine.
The other day I didn't drive it for like 2 weeks because my other daily driver for work purposes is I got a little 09 Kia.
Okay,
just a little fucking beat the hell out of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
The kids throw something in it. pick it up, clean it out. I don't care. It's not, the 3-year-old has turned it into a Destructo.
Yeah.
But I don't stress about it. But I had left it sit, so the battery died on it. And I threw the jump pack on it. This is tell you I'm a car guy. I threw the jump pack on it. And it fired right up. And I've made sure that every couple of days I hit the remote starter and it fires right up every time. It was coming off the factory. So my wife wants you to know that she has a 1983 Firebird. Do you know what an Iron Duke is?
I do not.
Okay. So the Iron Duke, and she, in a moment here, as long as I'm respectful, she won't. If I'm not respectful, she'll come down and I'll get dirty looks.
Right.
And hopefully at that point, she brings me a cup of ice and maybe a soda, but that'll be totally different.
That'll be something else.
That'll be so different. But my wife has a 1983 Firebird with an Iron Duke in it. The Iron Duke was a engine that they used to put in the Pontiac Fieros. It's a 4-cylinder in a Firebird.
Okay.
And she is very, very proud of this fact because there was only 19,000 of them produced. And there
was probably a reason why there was only 19,000 produced. And it probably wasn't a good thing. Probably.
I'm going to go ahead and
I mean, it's cool and rare, but not every cool and rare thing is cool and rare because it's a good thing.
There we go. Thank you.
Sorry.
Well,
she can't hit me.
You're in South Carolina. You're safe.
I'm fine. I don't think I would want any Fiero engine anywhere near any of my automobiles.
Maybe did they ever do like a twin turbo to those or anything?
Did they? Was the Fiero GT, did it have a turbo in it or was it just sportier looking? I don't know.
It looked like a Ferrari. I remember the GTs looked like somebody had put a Ferrari in the dryer and it shrunk.
I bet they did. I bet the Fiero GT. I'm not a big Fiero buff, so I don't know. I know
Scott, if you're still listening, look that up. Tell us.
Yeah, look it up, Scott. I know the Toyota MR2 had a turbo.
Mr. 2 did. So it was funny you mentioned the auto thing. So when I was in high school, I went to a real unique high school in Baltimore. It was a tech school, but it was my high school also. It wasn't like I had a high school and then got bussed over to a tech school. It was our tech school. It was all in one. And it was actually real unique because it's the only school in Baltimore County in Maryland that you had to apply to a public school. Okay. You had to maintain a C average, a 92% grade point 92% attendance, C average, and if you missed 3 days unexcused in a quarter, you failed for the year.
Good Lord. So you got to go to school and actually apply yourself at this place.
Exactly. Because the idea
done well there.
Well, they wanted you to be, the idea was they were prepping you for the workforce.
Right. That makes sense.
And we had a full auto body. We had auto technology. We actually had a diesel shop, everything. And I started off in the diesel and then diesel got combined into auto technology. And I was the same as you. I was like, I'm going to fix cars for the rest of my life. This is going to be great. And then I went in the Marine Corps and I fixed trucks and I broke everything I touched.
Nice.
And they were like I was telling some, I was really bad at this. And I was telling somebody the other day, I was tightening bolts on a oil pan one time and it said 12 inch pounds. So I grabbed the torque wrench and I torqued them to 12 foot pounds.
Yeah. That's much different.
That was yeah. And I thought, well, I don't give a shit. What the hell do I care? I took RTV, put it on the bottom of them and started putting them back up. And then the sergeant came along and was like, what the hell is this? I'm like, what? It's fine, right? I'm like 18 years old. I'm like, I don't understand the problem.
It'll be good.
It'll be fine. Like it's not leaking now. He's like, this is not going to work.
Yeah, until we drive it one time.
Hit one rock.
Yeah, that's it. And it's just completely the oil pan just falls off. Not a big deal.
Who gives a shit at that point?
April says it's still running, though.
Yes. It
did not catch on fire like all the Fieros. So that's good.
I promise you, like I go out every so often. It's sitting under a cover right now. We have almost 3 acres. We have so our home was built by a car guy.
Okay.
Like I actually have steel girders from a bridge as like the framework for my home.
Cool.
So I have like a detached 4-car garage. I have 2-car garage under the house. I have the whole 9 yards.
Nice.
So like it's sitting out by the detached garage, and I'll go out after the winter time is over. I'll put the charger on it, let the trickle charger go overnight, and it'll fire right up. I give, and it's sturdy. Those doors weigh at least, I no kidding. I bet you those doors weigh at least 100 to 150 pounds.
I
all day long.
I would not surprise me at all. Like the stuff was definitely much more sturdy then, for sure.
Well, even my Camaro, I looked at my Camaro when I got it, 1980. And do you know what the horsepower was on a 1980 Z28?
1980 Z28. It was probably like 190 horsepower.
Nailed it. Right on the nose. 190 on the nose. But Pontiac at that time was still putting the 6x6s in their cars. So you were still getting, that's why like Smokey and the Bandit was still a Pontiac.
Right.
Because they were still like, yeah, we understand gas crunch. We get it. That's fine.
We get it. Yeah. Pontiac kind of always did their own thing.
I love it, brother. So what else we got going on over there in the Bearded Den?
In the Bearded Den. What else you want to know?
I don't know. I at this point, I mean, I think we're dating.
Yeah, pretty much. I think so. Yeah. I've got your class ring on and everything. So it's completely official. Back to bearding stuff. So yeah, talking beards. That's what got you to really talk to me probably. So
that's it. So what's that about?
That's the whole history. So like I said earlier, I met Scott Sikora in 2017, late 2017, and he already had an established podcast called The Beardcaster. And he was known, as the Beardcaster. He interviewed everybody in the beard community and all the good stuff like that. He was probably around episode 40-ish at Worlds. And so I was like, wow, he's already got 40 episodes. He's big time. And so, yeah, right after Worlds, we interviewed each other. He interviewed me or whatever, and we talked. And then my episode 48 came out. And at that time, it was like the best Beardcaster episode ever. Like everybody was like, oh, y'all's chemistry is so good. And it's like y'all known each other forever and so on and so forth. We're like, y'all should do a show together. We're like, well, that'd be cool. But, we live super far apart and, that whole thing. And we kind of joked about it for a few months. And I think it was like February of 18. Yeah, we talked about, we saw each other again in Austin at a beard competition, and we sat down and like really talked about it with another guy. And we're like, man, we should do this. And then, crickets. And then we got really going.
So the other guy like never materialized?
He was there from the beginning. He was there at the beginning. Life happened, and he got really busy, and it ended up just being me and Scott. But so September 18 was our first episode as Talking Beards. And the first, dozen episodes were pretty rough. We always had technical difficulties. We were trying to do it on YouTube. We didn't know what the hell we were doing.
Yep.
And, we were fiddling around. We would have guests and then they wouldn't show up. And it was just like, it was a fucking disaster for a while. And we finally got our feet underneath us and we got a good thing rolling. And so, once we got really good and rolling, Scott changed the Beardcaster podcast to just Talking Beards. So if you go back to episode 1 of the Beardcaster, it'll show up in iTunes and everywhere that there's a podcast, that thing goes to it. Scott is really, really good at getting the podcast everywhere. So if you Google Beard Podcast, we're coming up. And so everything got rebranded to Talking Beards. So we are up to episode number 182 of the podcast.
Wow. And so you've been doing this a minute.
Yeah, we've done 107 live show episodes. So
wow.
Talking Beards, the live show is up to episode number 108 this upcoming Tuesday, and 183 of the podcast. So the numbers don't line up, but that kind of explains why they don't line up. And
I get it makes sense.
Yeah, it's fine. We're good, and we've been going pretty hard since the last like I said, since September 18. Took us a few months to get rolling, but once we got rolling, it was was good. And we almost always have a guest on, and I don't know, it's been a lot of fun. Yeah, we got talkingbeards.com. You can go over there. We have a website. We sell shirts and stuff, and no one
you got merch?
Yeah, we got merch and all kinds of stuff. You can get a dog little jacket. That's pretty cool.
Will it fit my cat? Will it fit my cats?
Yes, absolutely.
Give me a cat.
You have you're a cat person. I wrote that down. So that was
we actually have 2 cats, and so you will appreciate this.
Okay.
As a man in the South. So this is Luna right now.
Nice.
Or no, this is Titan actually. Let me look again. He's constantly trying to get onto my shows and constantly trying to steal my shit.
Yeah.
That's his gig.
So I just had a cat in my lap a few minutes ago, but she left.
But we also have the only American hound dog, the Plot Hound.
Okay.
We have Phoebe is half Plot Hound, half American Bulldog, and tomorrow is her 13th birthday. So anybody who hears this, please make sure you send a nice shout out to Phoebe on her 13th birthday. She is more than a senior citizen right now. She's almost a centennial. Just another old lady in my life. As my wife's standing over here petting the other cat, I'm waiting to get shit thrown at me.
Oh no, she can't hit me though.
No, see, look, that's your saving grace. So
good.
So what can people expect going on to Talking Beards?
Yeah,
and folks, if you notice, this is over an hour. This is just Aaron and I we don't give a shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
If I put this one out as a podcast, maybe this might just be one of those pay attention.
You should. This is going to be the highest rated podcast you will ever release ever in your entire podcasting career.
All right, we're going to see.
Yeah, it will. I promise.
Well, if we'll have to make it to a beard, I'll make you a promise.
Okay.
If this is the highest for the year.
Okay.
When COVID has done its thing, you tell me the competition. My wife and I, we have an RV. We will drive the RV out to this competition, and I will enter in a beard competition.
Nice. Sounds like
that'll be my promise.
It'll be my life's mission to make this happen. I promise this will be your highest viewed show ever.
Awesome. So what can people expect on your show?
Yeah, so like I said, Talking Beards, we're Tuesday at 8 o'clock Eastern every week on Facebook Live. We do it on Twitch, YouTube, and talkingbeards.com. So what we do is we do it on StreamYard as well. We stream to 8 different locations plus the website, and we go live. Yeah, so it's 5 different Facebook pages, and we go to Twitch, YouTube, and where else do we go? I think and Periscope. No one cares about Periscope, but we go there. So we do competitive bearding, and Scott and I both do it. We do it every week. We hop on there, we BS for a minute, introduce each other. Then we have like a news segment. We've got another guy. His name's Matt McClear. He's from upstate New York.
Where's he at?
Gosh,
hold on.
Something weird. Starts with an O, I think.
Oswego?
Yeah.
Or Onondaga?
I don't know. The first one sounded
Hold
right.
on. I'm in Albany, New York.
He's up there somewhere. His look up Beard Laws. You can figure him out.
We'll have to find him.
Yeah, he's Beard Laws on TikTok and Facebook and YouTube and all that good stuff. But he comes on and does our news, and we did the Gorilla Glue thing. That was our news segment last week. So we were all up to date on that. And we do that. Then we'll bring in a guest. Usually we have just someone from the beard community, but we had Rutledge Wood on a couple months ago, and we interviewed him. He was like our big high profile guest, and I texted him and stuff. It's super crazy that I can actually talk to Rutledge Wood and he knows who I am. It's pretty amazing. It pretty much solidifies my podcasting career in which I made it. And then we had Michael Tully. I don't know if you've ever listened to the Jason Ellis show. He was on. Yeah. So Michael Tully is like the sidekick on the Jason Ellis show. And
I listened to Jason Ellis when he was on Sirius Satellite Radio.
Yep. So we had Tully on right after they got fired from Sirius back in November, and they didn't even tell him it was happening. They were just like, oh, basically like, hey, how'd you get fired on your day off kind of deal. They were off for Thanksgiving break, and they're like, oh yeah, by the way, don't come back. We're not renewing your contract. And now they're
no shit.
Yeah, it was wild. So I'm like, this is my opportunity. Tully's not working right now. I'm reaching out. And he was like, I'm not doing anything anyway. So he came on, and it was awesome. So I had Tully on. We talked about, his show, and he's got a new podcast, and he now the Jason Ellis show is just strictly podcast, and they're plugging away, and they're trying to be, the whole Joe Rogan experience type podcast, bigger than life. So that's their whole mission. So yeah, we've had a couple famous people, but it's usually just, people from the beard community, or we've had Douglas Smythe on. He's not
Doug.
Oh, dude, he's amazing guest. And we've had him on a couple times. He's super great talker, super funny. We've had him, and then we have what we call the BS Buttons Beard Bulletin Board. So we have a friend, his name's Ben Samuels, and he has a button company. So he calls it BS Buttons.
Live it.
Yeah. So he sponsors our bulletin board, and it's anybody can post anything on there, and it just gives us a 15-minute at the end of the episode. We just kind of run through that Facebook page, and then that's where we post. Like, I'll post on there, or Scott, or whatever. If there's competitions coming up, we'll post it on there, and then it'll, we'll have it on there, and it's all in one place. Because when we used to start the show, we'd have like a beard competition segment, and now we're like, well, how can we get away from having a segment? We'll just put everything in the BS Buttons Beard Bulletin Board. So if there's a competition, we'll stop there, and we'll highlight it and talk about the competition and anything going on in the beard world. And like we talked about earlier, since COVID, the whole live competition thing's really slowed down. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. We'll find out on the other side of this thing, but it's just competitions have just, a few years ago, man, there was like 4 or 5 every weekend, and it was absolutely getting out of hand, and the attendance was all down because people couldn't go to all of them, and
saturated.
It was oversaturated. So I think in a weird way, this is probably going to help the beard community, because now we'll get back to maybe 1 or 2 a weekend once COVID's over, if we even have that. Because in 2014, when I first got in, it was a couple a month, and it would just be a ton of people at each event. And then you're like, oh, well, now there's a ton each weekend. So now there's not tons of people. Like, these were major, major events when I first got in. It was overwhelming how many people were at these beard competitions.
Really? Yeah, dude, what was an average? Like,
I would say, so ours, that I'm the president of. There's a club that I first went to the competition. That competition was like 205 competitors, and there was like 800 spectators there, and that was a pretty
good size.
Yeah, dude, it was a big event, and that was a bigger one, but still, all the competitions weren't necessarily that big, but it was definitely way bigger than they were a couple of years ago. But now, if you have a live event, nobody goes, pretty much, because of what's going on. But there's still a few. I went to, after COVID started, I think we went to maybe 4 last year. And then so far this year, we've gone to 1, and then we're going to go to another one in March, Mob Fest 4. It's going to be in Calhoun, Louisiana. I think it's March 6th. And it's actually, the dude's putting it on in his yard, because he was like, the Beard Mob is a huge online beard competition, beard club. And they're really branching out into like the real world now. And almost every state has a Beard Mob chapter. There's countries that have Beard Mob chapters now. They're getting big.
That's crazy.
From the Facebook page, man. And 2 of the president, I guess like the founders ish of the Beard Mob, they have a show on our network on Wednesday. So we're close to those dudes, and so their big Beard Mob meetup this is their 4th one. And he's like, well, we got to do it in March, because that's when it usually is. And he started hitting the ground looking for a venue, and wasn't happening. You can't have a 500-600 people get together. So he's like, we can do it at my house. So he got like a 30 by 40 circus tent type thing coming out there, and some porta johns, and turning his deck from his house onto the stage, and he's going to do it. And
wow.
It's going to be fun, man. It's a good group of people. Friday night for the pre-party, they're going to have Jello wrestling and a hot sauce chugging competition. So
please tell me Catfish Cooley's going to be there.
No, I don't know. Maybe.
How great. Because, like, does anybody like abuse their body better than that guy?
Dude, that guy just does not care, and it is amazing. He is an absolute idol of mine, and I'm going to absolutely win that hot sauce chugging competition. Nobody's beating me. I will absolutely just stand there in pain and act like nothing's wrong.
Oh, that's so amazing. So it's funny. So, I told you we're in quarantine lockdown. We're in the COVID castle right now.
Oh yeah.
So the other day my wife goes, I think I've lost my taste buds. I said, okay. She's like, but I don't know. What's the hottest hot sauce we have? Now, my favorite hot sauce right now, bar none, is I love the Old Bay hot sauce.
Okay.
If you haven't had it, highly recommend it. Being a guy from Baltimore, I'll put Old Bay on everything. and they've got.
I thought that was like a Louisiana thing that you put it on everything.
No, Old Bay's a Baltimore thing.
Oh.
There's a Louisiana thing though that like is a whole like hook a left. Have you ever had a snowball?
No.
And I don't mean
like from the snow, like a yellow snowball. Those are the best.
That's a whole nother.
What they put on those yellow snowballs?
Yeah, you don't
freaking good.
Yeah, let's not. Let's not eat that. No, I'll explain it after the show. Don't eat that.
Okay, I mean, I always thought they were pretty salty and delicious.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I mean, they're sterile.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty good. That's like Mountain Dew or something, right?
Right. It's Mountain Dew flavor. Absolutely.
Okay, cool. All right, go ahead.
But no, snowballs are a big. So there's only 2 places I know of in the United States that you can get a snowball, and this is the proper snowball, not the adult snowball. That's a whole nother thing too. But they're shaved. It's not really shaved ice because like that's the Italian icy.
Okay.
Shaved ice. So it's a like really chip down ice. And then you put a syrup over top of it, and there's all kinds of different flavors. Like I have an uncle who loves egg custard flavor. Okay. I'm a big fan of a flavor that's only a word. It's sky blue. You just have to try it. It's good. And when you go and you're like
stuff.
Yeah, that's see.
Ever had ocean water from Sonic?
Yes. Oh my! Good God! What just happened behind you? I said yes and fuck.
I don't know. She's jumping around and just everything just fell off the
shelf. I thought the way I said yes, it just reverberated through your home like that and just started knocking shit over.
Nosedive. Good Lord.
But we have these and we put marshmallow fluff on them.
Okay.
So it's a snowball, and so pre-COVID as this is, you make it, they get all the ice topped on it, and then the person takes their thumb and sticks it in the top.
Okay.
And you put the syrup all around it, and then you pour marshmallow fluff inside that hole.
Pour marshmallow fluff.
No, marshmallow fluff will pour because it's so. Won't. Yes, it will.
Pour it.
I'm telling you, if you take a spoon and you drop marshmallow fluff into it, it is.
You ever had marshmallow fluff and peanut butter sandwiches?
My kids love that. Oh, my oldest is 24 and he loves those sandwiches.
They're so good.
I'm a bit but you know what? Here we are, hook and left. This is hook and left. So I
still haven't even got through the Talking Beards network yet. This is gonna take forever.
Welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Above the Bar podcast.
That's right.
This is where we hook left every day.
Every day. All day, every day.
I told you the idea was if you bellied up to a bar and somebody said, "Hey, Aaron, don't you do those beard competition things?" Well, absolutely. Let me tell you all about it.
Hour and 13 minutes later, we haven't even really talked about it yet.
Oh, God. Now you make me feel bad. Tell me more about it.
Don't feel bad at all. I don't care. You're good. But marshmallow fluff. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say strawberry and peanut butter. Strawberry jelly and peanut butter.
It's grape. No? Absolutely grape.
I can't do grape. No. I burned myself out as a kid.
I don't. I eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches all the time still.
Uncrustables or homemade?
Homemade.
My kids love Uncrustables.
For like if you go to a race and you just need to put some stuff in your backpack. That's what Uncrustables are for.
The 3-year-old loves the Uncrustables, but frozen. Still frozen.
That's gross. I work with a guy that said that, and I tried one and about threw up. He was like, "Have you ever had one still frozen?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "I've got one here." I'm like, "Are you sure?" He's like, "Yeah." "Are you joking?" And I ate him like, "You are disgusting. This is terrible."
Yeah, my kids love the Uncrustables, still frozen. The 3-year-old, but see, you know what? Do you have kids?
Yeah, he's what, 20? Good Lord. Yeah,
Tyler, I like you even more now. Strawberry jelly is where it's at.
Don't listen to Tyler Hill. He doesn't know what he's talking. He doesn't even have a mustache, so you can't listen to people that don't have a mustache.
he's supporting the Amish.
He's one of those people. Don't listen to him.
But so God, so the I don't even remember where the fuck we were going.
I don't know.
It's so great. That's what I love about it. But yeah, so when it comes to your show, when it comes to, so they can get a little bit of everything from beard news, what's going on in the beard community, and real news. Obviously, some pop culture things.
A little bit, yeah.
You talked about the girl with the hair. God, that's so amazing.
Why? Anyway, like,
well, did you see that celebrities were supporting her?
Yeah, dude, she's 40. When I first saw it, I was like, oh, she's like 18 or,
right, kid.
No, she's 40. No better than that. Good Lord. She knew what she was doing. 100%. She 100% knew what she was doing. And she was just doing it for publicity. And it freaking worked.
Yeah.
Everyone knows who you are. TikTok, and it completely worked. Now you got a bunch of bonehead people out there gluing cups to their face and going to the ER. You see that?
No, what?
People are gluing cups to their face with Gorilla Glue.
And like folks, let's be honest with each other for a moment.
Do that.
As your dad for the moment, we have 2 dads here. We have adult children. Let me go ahead and explain to you real quick. If at any point in time your father would look at you and go, "You're a fucking idiot," probably stop and don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
That's their PSA for today.
Absolutely. Just because it you get a can of Gorilla Glue and it doesn't say it's not hairspray,
right?
It doesn't mean that it's hairspray. Like, you don't get a thing of Comet and use it as sugar just because it's like kind of the same color. Oh, it doesn't say it's not sugar. It's not sugar. It's not. I'm
gonna snort this off the back of the toilet here.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine. It'll be okay.
It'll be all right. No, it's not all right. People are dumb, man. Gosh, people are dumb.
There's definitely a special level of stupid, and I think COVID has really brought out an extra level.
My wife and I talk about that all the time when we go like Walmart or Target or something. It's like, did people get more dumb? Yeah. What happened? Like, what is going on? Like, people are just like, you see them pushing their cart and they're just like in your way. I'm like, move. Why are you saw me coming? Why are you parking your cart in the middle of the aisle? Like, use this much common sense. Just barely any.
I call those mall stoppers. I used to I get so frustrated. Like, you're walking down the aisle. They put the clothes in the big department stores right along the aisles because that's where you got to go into the store through.
Right.
Into the mall. And like, you're walking along and they just stop like, oh, let me look at this random ass shirt.
Yeah. Don't step over and look at it. No, stop right there.
Right there. This is, I'm going to go. It's only big enough for one shoulder width as it is, but I'm going to stop right here with my 4 shoulder width ass.
Yeah. We have a really good one about that. We went to Universal Studios a few weeks ago, and I don't know if you've ever been there. They've got those like the airport runway, like an escalator, but a sidewalk, the moving sidewalk things all through the park, like when you're leaving. And these people, they would get at the end of it, and instead of, continually walking or stepping off to the side, they would get off of it and immediately go to their phone. I'm like, you have 100 people coming off the sidewalk. Freaking move. Like, don't just stop there. That's a terrible spot to stop and check your phone. But no, I need to check my phone right now.
So in my other world, I load people onto public transportation
because you drive choo-choo trains.
I don't drive them. Always remember, folks, if your train turns left or right, your day's gonna suck. Just gonna go ahead and put that out there. Not good. I'm a conductor out there, and I can't tell you how many times people come down the escalator and they get now. Pre-COVID, it was even worse. I will tell you, it was even worse because we would load out of New York City 275, 300 people on a train that only sat 306. So we're not talking like I got a couple of folks getting on here. Right. And they would get to the bottom and I would go, destination. And they would hold their ticket up to me. Folks, you got 75 more people right behind you. Destination. get out of my way. And I would tell them, stand over here. And they would be like, and I would get everybody else and they would still be trying to show me the ticket. Nope, hold on. Destination. And everybody else would be fine. They would finally realize that unless you tell me where you're going, I can't help you.
I'm not reading the ticket. You got to tell me. Come on.
And it's not like I'm being mean about it or nothing like that.
No, it's called being efficient.
Right. I just, if I have to stop for you to scan through your ticket and go, oh, okay, you're going to blank. I'm going to go ahead and the other thing is people that bring down like these big, massive bags and they get to the bottom of the escalator and they like don't realize that the escalator stops and it doesn't come all the way to me. Like there's not moving ground. And I'm like, come on, keep coming, folks. Keep coming. Don't stop there. There's a lot of people building up behind you because I want everybody to be safe. I don't want anybody to get hurt because it makes for a horrible day. I don't want to see it, but it's definitely, I know exactly what you're talking about. Those people that like, the world is now stopped. Everyone else does not matter. I am here.
Not the 1,000 people that's about to come barreling into you.
Oh no, they don't. It means absolutely jack and shit to them.
Absolutely. But yeah. I
don't know what's coming down. I'm trying to figure out what's coming down my steps right now. Like it sounds like can you hear that?
I cannot.
Okay. Well, see, that's a good mic that I've got here. I've got an Audio Technica. I keep trying to say things in that manner, so hopefully one of these people will turn around and be like, man, we really like the way you say our product.
Yeah, you say our product so well. Here's $1 million and a free microphone.
So, do you put a lot of videos on TikTok?
So yeah, I did. So the whole beard craze hit TikTok probably about a year ago, December, 19. Yeah. So December 19, it was hot. Everybody, the bearding people, it was all the rage. And my niece messaged me one day, was like, dude, everybody on TikTok is going nuts about beards. You need to make a TikTok. So I'm like, all right. So I made a first TikTok sitting here at my desk and I'm like, hey, I'm making a TikTok. I don't know what I'm doing. My niece said I needed a TikTok. And it was like, then the next day I watched a bunch of videos at work that night. I'm like, all right, I kind of see what these beard dudes are doing. And I made a TikTok like the beard guys in the bathroom looking at the mirror. And that video went nuts. It got to like 850,000 views.
No shit.
Yeah, dude. Dude, my phone died that night at work. It was just constant. I'm like, what the hell? I was like, is it always going to be like this? And, it did not. That was it. So after that, I was hooked for a while. I'm like, I need to make a video every day. Like I'm famous. I went from 0 followers to 30,000 followers in 3 days. And so I was for a couple months. I was making a video every single day, and then it just kind of fizzled out. Now it's just random, completely random. I'll do a couple a month. I'll get a hot streak. I'll do like 3 or 4 a week, and then it's like I won't do one for a couple of weeks or whatever. I don't really care about TikTok. I do more Instagram stuff. I feel like I post on Instagram pretty regular, but I've got buddies like that. Matt McClear, Beard Laws. That's who I met through TikTok. He was one of the big beard Christmas decoration beard people that year. And they were putting
all the like glitter in the beard and all that
stuff. That was the hot thing. And so him and a couple other guys, Beer Bong John and Iron Sanctuary, were like the 3 big TikTok beard dudes. And I mean, Matt Beard Laws, I think he's got like 200,000 followers, but those other dudes started just normal, just guys, and now one of them's got like 6 million followers and
holy shit,
verified, and the other dude's got like 3 million, and he constantly makes posts about not being verified because him and the other guy started at the same time and they're best friends. But yeah, so I mean, it was just now I don't even think those dudes work anymore. I think they just make TikToks.
Well, that's a whole thing. So my wife and I last night watched a entire special on OnlyFans, because you were talking about like people making money. So I don't remember his name right now. He was one of the comedians that was on the Chappelle show, the skinnier guy, and he has a podcast and it's funny he calls it a podcast because I don't call it a podcast because it's only on OnlyFans. Okay. If it's a podcast, then I can get it on podcast services.
Right. So you have a podcast service, but
right.
He just got a live show.
He's got a live show that if you pay for OnlyFans, you can watch the show.
Talking Beards has OnlyFans, but we don't use it.
Wait, all right. So
we made one.
Wait. What is the Talking Beards OnlyFans about? Please tell me what are you doing?
We were just gonna brush our beards and stuff on there, but then we haven't. But we made one. We made
okay. Because I would. So it's funny you say that. So I thought about like the TikTok thing, and it kind of went into this. But that guy was like, "Yeah, I did a show, and it's only on there." And I was watching this thing. So these celebrities that are jumping into these markets to get involved in these different things. Like I told somebody the other day, I was like, I got like just short of 200 people follow me on TikTok. I don't do a lot with it. I like the Instagram better, like you.
Right.
I can post a picture. The concept of the show is me and my kids and being a dad and pop culture and how these things all work in my life. Instagram fits that. TikTok is more like, I'll throw some shit.
TikTok's a lot of work. I've got to give it to those guys that come up with stuff to post all the time. Like I ran out of stuff to do. Completely ran out of stuff to do after 2 months, and like I was just like come up with a few random things, but it was consuming. Like I was like constantly thinking, I'm like, what am I going to do tomorrow? What am I going to talk about? Because mine weren't like, some people do dances and lip sync and stuff like that, and that's kind of unlimited content. But I wasn't doing anything like that. I was just getting in front of the mirror and talking, pretty much. And,
well, Cody already told you that like we're now going to do beard dances.
That's right. Yeah. So I maybe I can bring back the beard dances and start doing that.
What the fuck would even a beard dance? I don't know what a beard dance look like. I have no idea.
I have no idea. We'll have to invent it. It's not really a thing yet. So it's whatever we decide that it's going to be.
So here we go. Random thought. So what you're going to do, you're going to put googly eyes on your mustache.
Okay.
So we'll put googly eyes on the mustache. We could leave your mouth, and then we can split the goatee and make it look like legs, and at the bottom of it put like doll shoes, and then it'll just be you, and you could do like this.
I like this.
This is my random thought, and I have a feeling you will at least get 10 views.
So the funny story about that is I genuinely like that idea, and one of the new categories that's kind of started during this whole online beard competition stuff is men's craft creative. So it's like freestyle, but you can put stuff in it. Does that make sense? So one of the shows that we do on our network on Monday nights is called the Craft Whisker Build Off. And so what they do, there's a club called the Craft Whisker Club, and it initially was just women. So the craft club, the craft creative and craft realistic categories at beard competitions are women, and they make their beards. So there's a category for women for the realistic, and they try to make their beard as realistic as possible. And that's genuinely what my wife does. And then there's the creative category that you can make it out of anything as long as it's beard shaped. So like bottle caps, or, get super creative with it and, do lasers and, fireworks or whatever. And so a couple of these ladies, my wife and another girl, they started that show. And so they do these boxes, right? So they send out two random boxes to people somewhere, like two people that's selected in the beard community. And then during the show live, they'll open said box and they have 1 hour to make a craft beard. So they move the camera out so you can see it, and they're like, all right, go. And then they're like, all right, now open the box. Okay. So you have to use 5 items out of this box and make a beard. So there'll be, a supplied base, but you have to cut it into a beard shape, figure out how to attach it to your head or whatever. And then you just start gluing crap to it, whatever's in there. So like I said, generally it was what they call whiskerinas. And then they would
I love these names.
Yeah, it's super fun, man. And then so it just started out women that were generally doing this, and then they're like, well, let's get a couple dudes to battle. So me and Scott ended up battling on this show, and we made beards. And dude, that crap is so freaking hard. And then more guys started doing it, and it'd be like a guy versus a girl. And then a couple of these competitions, people were wearing those beards that they were making. And so they were like, well, I mean, I did one in Dallas back back during the summer, I wore my beard I made. It was just fun. My beard sucked. It was fine. And I just did it for fun, but I was in the Whiskerina category with the women. Well, it got the whole thought like, let's make a category for the guys. So a couple of these online competitions have Tyler Hill did one. I made his box actually. So it's a men's craft creative or freestyle creative, whatever, however it's worded. And then so you can freestyle your beard or you can just wear a Whiskerina creative beard. So a couple of these guys, they've still freestyled their beard, and then they put on like a Whiskerina beard like I did for the West Coast Classic back in January. My wife helped me, and we made like a big heart beard with like, googly eye people all over it and stuff. And then we hairsprayed my beard to go around the heart. So it included it in the,
that's awesome.
The craft thing. And it's just a fun thing. So, so that's kind of our Monday night show in a nutshell. We do that one every other Monday. It's a Chisha chicken bread, and my wife Natalie, and then Scott kind of produces it, stays on there, tries to do the comments and all that good stuff, and then they bring in the two competitors, and then they go head to head for an hour. And
so that's Monday's show.
That's Monday's show.
Tuesday is your show. What's Wednesday's show?
So Tuesday's talking beard.
It's okay it's Wednesday. You're okay to skip to come to my show, but you can listen to the podcast afterwards.
That's right. Yeah, your podcast is always up. So on Wednesday at 8:00 Eastern, we have What Up Mob Wednesday, and that's Monty and Boo. It's the I guess the creators or founders of the Beard Mob, and they just get on there. Those dudes have absolutely no script. They don't give a shit. They just get on there. They drink. They smoke. And they just BS for 2 hours, 3 hours, however long they decide to go. The Beard Mob people really love the show. They really interact with the comments a whole bunch. And those guys they've really honed their skills, and that they've really put together a good show for genuinely having no idea what they're even going to do. And they do a really, really good job. And then so Thursday we have Matt McClear show, Beard Laws, and that's 9:00 Eastern. And that, he tries different stuff. He does a lot of TikTok guests and stuff like that. He's had a variety of different co-hosts that are big name TikTok people and stuff like that. And then they'll bring on a guest and talk to them. It's, it's a good time. They bring on, like I said, it's more geared towards the TikTok community, but he's trying to get out of that shadow a little bit. I think he had a dude from the Food Network. I can't remember his name, but he was on there from the Food Network, and that was pretty cool. So he got him a big name guest. And then Friday, so we were calling it F It Friday for a while, and me and Matt, we did 2 episodes of talking poop on there. Oh yeah, we talked about poop for an entire hour, and we did 2 episodes of it.
If you want my 3-year-old, I'll send him over to you. He'd be more than happy to talk about it.
I didn't think we could do it. And then, so we did it, and people loved it. It was super fun. And we even kind of got a sponsor out of it.
No.
Originalpoopknife.com. It's a real thing. Look at this.
What is a poop knife?
The originalpoopknife.com. So check this out. So it says, yes, this is for real. Do you, your friends, or family poop big? Do those logs sometimes need a little help going down? Endlessly spinning poops will mock you from the toilet vortex no more. Original Poop Knife will chop the most compacted of brownies, the most seasoned of sausages, the hardwood of butt logs, the longest of sewer snakes, the most ferocious of bog crocodiles, and the fattest of heaven Havanas. OriginalPoopKnife.com. Oh yeah, that definitely deserves that. So apparently this started out as a real thing. Some people actually poop so big they keep a knife in their bathroom to cut their poop up. I had no idea. This is essentially a gag gift, but it's a real thing. People
do you remember Bubba the Love Sponge?
I do.
He had the poop stick.
Yeah, he did. Holy crap, I forgot about that. He did have the poop stick.
He had the poop stick. Like, he kept it. For those who don't know, look up Bubba. He's another one of those guys, had a great show, got fired from his original Celestial Radio, went on to satellite. I don't know what he's doing now.
He was on Sirius for a while. I don't know where he's now. He ended up fighting with everybody over there.
He was.
Him and Jason Ellison ended up like not liking.
Yes. Well, he's the one that him and Hulk Hogan had the
he said he like
lawsuit.
banged Hulk Hogan's wife or something like that.
Yes. So he no, it was the other way around. Hulk Hogan banged his wife.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense.
And like Hulk Hogan slept with his wife, and he sued Hulk Hogan, who was his best friend. But he always used to talk about the fact that he had the poop stick next to.
I forgot about that. Yep.
Yeah, no, that's funny. A poop knife. So that
was Friday. So we did a couple episodes of Talking Poop. A couple different Whiskerinas had a little show on there for a second, like one episode. We did a few trivias and stuff like that, and then I ended up going back to night shift, so I couldn't like help that the Friday time slot keep getting filled with random things. So it essentially died. We don't have a solid Friday show, but we have on Saturday we have what Big Sexy Saturday Night. It's 8:00 Eastern. It's just a variety show. It's Sean Glander and Corey Guile, both from Beard Mob as well. They're from their respected states. So where Glander is from Washington, and I think he's like the president of the Washington or West Coast Beard Mob, and then Corey is from the Ohio Beard Mob, and they do a little show. They essentially do what we do, just a little bit different. They go over, beard competitions. They bring someone on, but they actually do a beard competition segment. So they bring on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So they do a guy comes on. His name's Josh Barefoot Brains. He has chops. We like him, but his facial hair is still dumb, but he comes on. He really, he spells it out of what competitions are coming up, and it's mostly online now, but it's, it's still good. And those guys do a fantastic job. And then they have an hour-long show. They cut it off at 9, and at 9:00 on the dot, those two shows watch each other. As soon as his ends, we have another show out of Austin, Texas called The Least We Could Do. And they were already a pretty established podcast show. They were up to like episode like 20, I think, before we hooked up with them. They are in the beard community. They're part of the Austin Facial Hair Club. It's Dwayne, Jimmy, and Kyle, and they do nothing with the beard community. They have beards, but they do not talk about beards on their show. They do like music, or they'll have like musical guests on, and they'll like perform a little bit, and they'll have like a comedian on, and and then they're very much hook and left the entire episode. It's 2 hours hook and left. And that's their show. They do a good job. And then so now on Sundays we have a new show at 7:00 Eastern called The Art Assault, and that's Josh and Kevin. They're in Kansas, and what they do is the beginning of the episode they pick a topic, and then they're both artists, and they make an art print on the show, and they rotate out, and they have a guest, and they interview them, and it's an hour and a half or something like that, and it's a really good time. And so what we've done is it started out, I'm trying to think what the first thing started out as Talking Beards, but then I think the craft show was our first kind of show, and then we were just playing their show on our StreamYard, and then they would show it on their Facebook and our Facebook, and we're like, man, we should start a network and help out these other shows. And so it was kind of the whole one team, one fight kind of thing. And we're like, let's just start bringing everybody in. And
it's awesome.
So everybody can start, it's not against each other. Nobody's trying to like, well, I'm going to put my podcast at 8:00 on Tuesday and get more. Let's just all figure this out. We're all, it's essentially the same people watching these same shows anyway. So we all kind of scheduled so everybody stays together, and we support each other's shows. Sometimes we go on each other's shows. We'll advertise for each other. I sent a couple shows poop knives. Like, hey, you want some stuff to give away? And they're like, what, you're going to send us poop knives? That's awesome, And then they'll send me a bunch of stickers. And if we give stuff away, like Talking Beards sends out what we call the box.
What's that?
So it's just basically it's an ammo box with stickers on it.
Love an ammo can. I'm a big fan of an ammo can.
One of these.
Nice.
I get them from Harbor Freight. Rip those stickers off, put a Honest Amish and Talking Beard sticker on it, and we just load it with Honest Amish product. And then, I'll put like Doug stuff in there, some stickers, whatever I have around, I just shove it. And then that'll be like a raffle prize at a competition or something like that. And, so yeah, other shows will send us stuff and we'll just stick it in the box and just all about helping each other out. So
I love it.
Yeah, man. We all enjoy doing it. And I absolutely have a passion for doing this stuff. And I had no idea this was in me or anything. Like I had no idea. Like I freaking love doing this stuff. If there was some way I could talk on the microphone all day, every day and get paid, I would absolutely do it. But 3 years ago, I couldn't even hardly carry on a conversation, much less stand in front of people and MC beard competitions. And I've done like 3 so far, and it blows my mind because, when Scott interviewed me back in 2017 for episode 48 of Talking Beards on the podcast, we talked about it. He was like, I think you could eventually MC a beard competition. I'm like, dude, there's no freaking way. Like I get up on stage and I don't have to say anything and I'm getting shaky. Like they interviewed me at Worlds and like, I couldn't even remember the name of my beard club. Like I was like, and I said it wrong. I said like Holy City Mustaches or something like that. I'm like, I don't even freaking know what my beard club name is. And now I'm fine. Like I don't even think about it even in the least bit. As you can tell, 1 hour and 41 minutes we're into this. And
yeah, I love it.
I don't know. I don't understand where this came from or what happened, but it's happened and I love it. And I just, want to help out everybody in the beard community or, beard community adjacent. And if, popping on our little network and can help out their show, and I'm all for it, just all about helping each other out.
Well, that's the amazing thing about this whole podcast thing. So you saw Herb pop on.
Mm-hmm.
So I always call Herb the Podfather. So
okay.
Him and I have known each other at least since 2011, 2012. He's been podcasting. He's on his second network that he started. He started off with his first one called FBI Fanboys Inc. And it was very geared towards pop culture and comic books and comic book related stuff, which, when you were talking about the saturated market, it brought up to me the mind that I have a very big comic book addiction. Most of my fans know this, all 4 of them, I should say. I spend a lot of money on comic books, and my best friend Ken and I every year go to New York City Comic Con. That being said, pre-COVID, you start talking to these guys like Mark McKenna, who's a comic book guy, Matthew Dow Smith, any of these guys that are comic book folks, they tell you, they were running into the same thing you were running into in the comic book world with the beard world.
There's too many conventions and stuff.
Yeah. Everybody had a convention. Every local yokel decided, well, I can make $50 off of this. Somebody in the town has a comic book collection. We'll go ahead and set it up. And Herb was my podfather, and he's got his network and all the stuff he worked with. But it's still very comic book related, daily, those kind of things. But I love the fact that you guys are helping each other out. And I'm in the same way. So I've got the 2 jobs, like we were talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I would quit both of them tomorrow if I could do this on a daily basis. Yep. I enjoy this. I enjoy these conversations. Next week, we're talking to a lady who's a psychic, a celebrity psychic.
That's cool. Get lottery numbers.
Right. Well, go back and listen to my episode about Banach. Do you know who Banachek is?
I don't.
Have you ever heard of the $1 million psychic challenge?
Uh-huh.
So that's Banachek. That's those guys. That's God, I can't think of his name right now, and I apologize to Banachek if he ever listens to this. The gentleman just passed away this year, who was the starter of this, but where hey, if you can prove what you're doing is legit, we'll give you $1 million. And I've talked about this a couple times on the show. There was this woman in Australia used to call into their 800 line and be like, the lottery numbers this weekend will be blank. And she would get them wrong every time. And then she would call in again and go, the lottery numbers this weekend will be blank. Because she figured if I called in every weekend and I actually got the lottery numbers right, you're going to give me another. There you go.
I did it. First try.
And I've got this lady coming on this week, and I can't wait to talk to her. She seems like a sweetheart. But, my show is we're going to talk about beards today. Next Wednesday, we're talking about that. The week before, I tell everybody, go check out Jaya Wirt's documentary called Conviction on Amazon. She's probably, I'd almost say Jaya was probably one of my biggest, Banachek's probably my biggest guest because he actually was Chris Angel's. He worked with Chris Angel and helped him get all of his stuff together. But Jaya's got a documentary about a guy who was wrongly convicted at 16 years old for rape and murder. And the DNA evidence was like, nope. And then the guy committed, like, yeah, this was me. I did that. A whole nother person. While this guy at 16 years old spent 16 years in jail. And he's now a lawyer who has gotten 9 other people out of jail. And at age 16, they didn't send him to juvenile to like a juvie and then like, hey, we'll send you to a regular prison afterwards. At 16 years old, he went to adult prison.
Holy crap.
Oh, yeah. 16 years old, went to adult prison. And there's all kinds of stories about how they in prison because all they know is prison law. Hey, you raped and murdered somebody. We're going to go ahead and prison justice. They attempted to murder him in jail with a cinder block.
Oh my gosh.
And I had but that's why I say, like, I love this whole genre. I love everything about it. The best so far is why do men have podcasts? I'm like, because nobody here will tell me I have a fucking issue.
Yeah.
like the psychiatrist. Brother, you're doing such an amazing job. Where, again, let's go back through this. TalkingBeards.com is they can find you. Facebook is talking.beards. Everywhere is talking.beards, right?
So it's _beards. So we have talkingbeards.com. Facebook, I think we're just Talking Beards. Instagram, Twitter is talking_beards. TikTok is just Talking Beards. Periscope, I think, is _beards, but no one cares. And
nobody cares about Periscope.
And then Twitch is talking_beards. YouTube is Talking Beards. So you pretty much type in Talking Beards, and if our logo pops up, that's it. That's us. So that's it.
And if it's on Periscope, and long as you're in your underwear, they will come up on Talking Beards.
There you go. That's right.
Because that's all Periscope was like Periscope had like a 30-second hot minute, and it was all people randomly in their underwear.
I don't know. I think it's so Twitter is using it as their live stream.
Oh, really?
So when we go to Periscope live, it just shows up on our Twitter. But I think in March that's going away, and Twitter's going to have their own standalone thing. So I think Periscope's actually going away next month.
That would be great. So like here we're on 2 Facebook pages and YouTube.
Okay.
So if Scott
second tier StreamYard.
Right. So like Scott, if you're one of the 4 people that are still watching right now, you'll have to educate me on how to get this thing onto Twitter live stream or something else.
Oh yeah, it's I know how to do all that too, so I can definitely help you out.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I try to put it out everywhere. You know, this is so we're gonna see if this becomes the most downloaded show.
100%. You got to still make it a podcast so I can utilize it.
Well, so here's what I'll do. I make you a promise. Okay. So normally what I do is the next day. So when you and I are done and we get everything situated, I will set up the podcast. So it goes out tomorrow morning at 8 a.m.
Okay.
Because it's always the next day at 8 a.m. Normally it's drive time. I will set that up. So it's an 8 a.m. drive time. I will ensure you, I promise you, if it is the highest downloaded, we will definitely go to we will find a beard competition where we all can meet up at and hang out. We will figure out what that is because I miss the South more than you can ever effing imagine.
Come on down.
You can't Smithfield's barbecue in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Smithfield pulled pork with Carolina style, like the fat kid that lives inside of my soul.
Heck yeah.
Needs one of those right now. There's nothing better than Carolina style barbecue. When I don't have to explain to somebody that I want a sweet tea and they go, there's sugar on the table.
There's sugar on the table. Or like I was in Wisconsin, I think, and asked for a sweet tea, and they're like, "You mean like raspberry tea?" I'm like, "Oh my God, where am I?"
Oh God, it's like a whole nother world. And Hush Puppy isn't a brand of fucking shoes.
Oh my gosh, hush puppies are amazing.
Aren't they?
So there's a place down here that has giant hush puppies, and they cut them in half, they hollow them out a little bit, and put Carolina barbecue inside of them.
Yeah. Tell me more.
Oh yeah, that's it. That's all there is. They're amazing. And I saw something. Someone was making like hush puppies into like bread, and then making them into barbecue. Yeah, but this place was called what was it? Oh my gosh, I forgot. Like hush puppies? No, not hush puppies. Stuffed puppies.
Stuffed puppies.
Yeah, they were like baseball size hush puppies. With it was gutted out a little bit, and then they put like barbecue in it, and then barbecue sauce, and freaking smush it back together.
Have you ever had a Scotch egg?
I have not.
Scotch eggs are a hard-boiled egg wrapped in sausage and then fried.
That sounds amazing.
And then like they come with a dipping sauce. So I've been to 42 of the continental United States, nice. France, Greece, Italy, Spain. Yeah, those are the European countries I've been to.
Cool.
So I've made my rounds.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you the best sandwich on the planet is in Toulon, France. It's called a smash sandwich.
Okay.
It comes on French bread. If any of my Marine buddies that deployed with me are paying attention, they will love this. It's a French bread, and whatever your protein is, whether it be burger or chicken, they cook that up and they put that on there, and your lettuce and your tomato and all those things. This amazing spicy French mustard that at one point in time I bit into a sandwich and my nose started running.
That's awesome.
It was amazing. And then they put your French fries on top of the sandwich. And the sandwich is about that big. If you Google smash sandwich Toulon, France, it will come up. And it's not a panini where people think, oh, it's a panini because it's got the grill marks. It doesn't have that. It's a flat press. And they flat press this sandwich down. And when it gets done, it's about that big. Yes, that face you're making right now.
Dude, this is awesome.
It is the best hangover sandwich that you will ever have. So sandwich-wise, there's nothing that compares to it. But I miss being in the South so bad. There's weird things that like people think about. So everybody thinks New York City and pizza.
Right.
Nope. I will tell you right now, I've had a lot of New York City pizza. You can roll it up real nice and tight, and you can stuff it dead in your ass. The best slice of pizza I've ever had, Atlanta, Georgia, Antico Pizza.
Really?
Antico Pizza in Atlanta, Georgia is ranked by, what is it, like Travelocity or one of those as the top 10 in the entire country. And it's one of these places you go to, and when you first walk in, all the women are these Ethiopian women. They're beautiful women. They're standing there. They're like taking your order, and they're like, go that way. They're just like, get away from me. Go that way.
Go away. Yeah.
Go away. I've taken your order. And you walk through this, you see like this long table, and there's a doorway behind it. And you walk through that doorway, and it opens up into a family style seating. Now, I have no idea what it's like now with COVID.
Mm-hmm.
You walk through this doorway, and when you get in there, it's all these tables. And you and I at that point could not know each other from Adam.
But you're sitting with each other.
You're sitting with each other.
Yep.
And they have all these individual brick ovens around the restaurant. And when you get to them, they've got your pizza order. And you wait, and all of a sudden somebody will come walking around yelling your number. And you need to pay attention, because once they start yelling, and we're not talking like, hey, this is, 30 minutes or less or some bullshit or like that. Like you walk back there, and within 5 to 7 minutes, somebody's yelling your number.
That's awesome.
And it's
amazing pizza.
Brother, it is like when I was in Atlanta, it was the most amazing pizza I've ever had. Atlanta, I will tell you right now, next to being home in Baltimore, which is the biggest small city in the world. I always say that, I didn't like when people talk about like they grew up with all these different chain restaurants. I didn't grow up with chain restaurants. We didn't have them. There's a lot of local shit.
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta still has that. I've been to Gladys Knight's restaurant. That's where some homeless guy tried to get me and my buddy to go down an alleyway and park our car. He was like, "Nah, man, this parking lot's filled. Nah, man, follow me." We're like, get away from me.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm good. Yeah. I'm not following you.
I'm not following the homeless guy down an alleyway to find a parking spot.
It's pretty funny you say that. Me and my wife, when we first moved to South Carolina, we both come from tiny towns in Kentucky, and where we trust everybody, don't lock our doors and that whole thing. And we're like, let's go to Atlanta this weekend. We're like, all right, we're gonna walk around and go see some stuff. We're just walking around, looking at buildings. We're like, oh, this is cool. Walking down this street, and this homeless man, kindly robbed us. It was the nicest robbing ever. So we were just like walking. We're like, oh, let's cross the street, and he's like, hey, white people, We're like, yeah,
that would be us.
Wait a minute. We are the white people. Yeah. Okay, go ahead. And he was like, hey, you don't want to go over there. Don't cross the street. We're like, what do you mean? He was like, you don't want to go over there. And we're like, it does look pretty sketchy. Like we weren't even really paying that much attention. We're just like, we're walking around downtown Atlanta. And he was like, yeah, since I basically saved your life, how about, you give me a couple bucks? And instead of, us being, little kids from Western Kentucky at the time, we're like, sure. And my wife pulls out money out of her pocket, like $2 and like a 20, and tries to hand him the $2. And he's like, nah, I want that 20. And he's like, no, here. He's like, no, I want that 20. And we're like, well, I guess we're giving you the 20. Hand him the 20 and freaking walked away. And we're like, we're done being downtown Atlanta now. And that was pretty much our one and only experience in downtown Atlanta. And we've really never really been back since.
I had such a good time in Atlanta. I was there for opening weekend for the College Football Hall of Fame when they moved it from South Bend, Indiana to Atlanta. It's just it's one of those few. So there's like a handful of places I always say, like Pensacola, Florida. I'd pack up tomorrow and move to Pensacola.
I like Florida. I would definitely move down there.
Around Onslow County, Eastern North Carolina, pretty much anywhere on Eastern North Carolina, I'd pack up tomorrow and I'd move. If I had to move to a major city, though, Atlanta. But Atlanta's the only place I know of it at 3:00 in the morning on a Sunday.
Traffic.
Fucking bumper to bumper. And you're like,
crazy. You do not want to live in Atlanta.
It's like
a terrible decision.
Yeah, but the food is so amazing. This is the fat kid that lives in my soul.
Mm-hmm.
And I love him to death. Him and he's like a 300-pound version of me. So I doubt Terrell's paying attention. I wish he was. So my good friend of mine, Terrell, and one of my closest friends, we go to this place. So you've heard of Chick-fil-A?
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Have you ever heard of Chick-fil-A Dwarf House?
I've not.
So this is I've just ruined your life, and I apologize completely.
Uh-huh.
So Chick-fil-A Dwarf House is the original Chick-fil-A restaurant.
Okay.
Chick-fil-A Dwarf House is in Atlanta, and Chick-fil-A Dwarf House sells burgers. What? Look at that. I wish you could see the size of Aaron's eyes right now, folks, as his eyes got as big as – both him and I wear glasses, and his eyes got as big as our glasses, and we're like, wait a sec.
Burgers at Chick-fil-A.
Burgers at Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
And it's a sit-down restaurant.
Okay.
Like waitress comes over, takes your order, the whole 9 yards.
Chick-fil-A.
Right.
Okay.
And they still have a drive-through and everything.
Right.
So Terrell and I are over there, and this wonderful young lady who's our waitress, I have no idea what her name is to this point, and I'm digging through my phone to see if I can find the original pictures from back then. So this young lady comes over, and she's our waitress, and she says to Terrell and I, we're getting ready to order because it's almost directly across the street from our hotel. She says, "Y'all want to try something?" and she's a bigger gal, and Terrell and I are like, "Yeah, like I ain't turning down a good meal. So let's see what we're working with here." So she goes, "Why don't you try the sweet potato souffle with a scoop of ice cream.
What?
And just so you know, if you're watching the live stream, there's Terrell, and that's why they call it Dwarf House. That's the front door in the building. They have regular doors, but then there's a special door if you really want to get into it. That's the Dwarf House door.
Wow. That's awesome.
And old girl said, do you want to try this? So Terrell and I were like, well, fuck yeah.
Heck yeah, let's check this out.
And I'm going to tell you right now, that was actually July 15th, 2014.
Cool.
And as I'm looking through my photos, and it was insane good. Like Atlanta, I tell people, Atlanta is just this like food place that I don't think people understand how good that place is. I ate like a kid. We went to a place called Palookaville that had nothing but 1950s toys and shows on the TV, and they were handmade corn dogs and adult milkshakes with liquor in them.
This is amazing.
Yeah, like so you got robbed.
Yeah, no kidding. On more ways than one.
You got robbed in Atlanta, and we came up with all these great places to go feed our fatness.
Yeah, I didn't. I got robbed and basically never went back besides being in traffic every time I go through town.
Oh, God. Fucking Atlanta traffic is like
terrible.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. All right, we're on 2 hours, Aaron. I didn't realize that.
We did it.
We did 2 hours. All right. So you and I can talk afterwards here because I definitely want to do that. But not everyone needs to hear all of our conversations. So if folks want to find you, they can go to anything. As soon as they type in Talking Beards into Google, so it's going to pop.
Anything Talking Beards. You can find me on Instagram at Aaron D. Johnston. You can find me on Facebook, Aaron D. Johnston. You can find me on TikTok at Talking Beards. That's me, not Talking Beards. And Twitter, Aaron D. Johnston. I don't really do anything over there. And then at Talking Beards everywhere. And if it doesn't look like us, it's at Talking_Beards.
And remember, that's Johnston with a T.
That's right. Aaron D. Johnston with a T.
So that you don't pull my move. and folks, if you like what you're seeing here, we are at the Above the Bar podcast on Instagram, at the Above the Bar 4. No idea who the other 1, 2, and 3 are. On Twitter, we have our TikTok is the Above the Bar podcast. We have our Facebook, which is the Above the Bar podcast. The goal with the Twitter, which I try to do stuff with it, is to hit 1,000, and we'll go live stream these shows on Twitter each week, or not Twitter, but whatever the hell that other thing is, TikTok needs 1,000 so we can live stream it. But the goal is to get that to 1,000 so we can live stream that. If you're listening along and you enjoy this, I have no problem in saying, please like our Instagram, like our Facebook pages, whatever platform you get a chance to listen to this on. We're on all the major platforms. Please subscribe. That's how we get pushed to the forefront. That's how other people get a chance to hear us. Your support is that important to me. Then we have the fucking hashtag, the Above the Bar podcast situation, and you can get our merchandise.
There you go.
So we use TeePublic. This has become a running joke where I'm the only person who buys it. This is the whole thing. So if you like what you hear, be sure to go on to TeePublic, look up the Above the Bar podcast. Our stuff should come up. There's the 2 designs on there. If at least 2 of you go online and you hashtag it, the Above the Bar podcast, once you get some merch, take some pictures. Whoever wins the contest, I promise you, I will send you a swag bag with a bunch of different items in it that you can go ahead and hide in your closet out of shame. I have no problem with that. But Aaron, you get the final word here, brother. What is it?
I don't know. Everybody stop shaving. That's about it. I think everybody should not shave for an entire year and just see what you look like. I think so. I try to tell everybody at work all the time, like, just don't shave for a year and just see what happens.
Wives, that doesn't count.
You might like it.
Alrighty, folks, be sure to push your stool in.
This has been an Earplug Podcast presentation. found on earplugpodcast.com, iTunes, SoundCloud, and wherever your favorite podcasts are found.